and just facilitating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just making sure we're good there. I'm sure more target. Oh, hi. Yay for being a tutor.
Wow. Hi.
Thank you. Sure. Thanks. Anybody else have anything? Thanks. All right, so for attention, you have done ADD or ADHD activities to walk around, hand toys, or overstimulation of room. So what did you talk about? Like,
Well, you can do like just short activities every half an hour, 20 hours, 4 or 5 times during the day to get your students up and moving. Like, it doesn't have to be just that child, but get all your students up and moving. It'll help benefit everyone, and especially the
Definitely.
students with ADHD.
because even now, even when we sit in lecture, it's just kind of like, when you actually like get up and move, you're like, okay, I can handle class a little bit longer. So activities definitely help. Did anybody else talk about attention? No? And what about power?
We kind of used the example from our math practicum. We did like a weights lesson, and if the students get too into the scale or like the objects that you brought, they kind of take over the power of not letting you teach the lesson and play with the scale more than learn from it.
All right. What's a way you think you could counteract that if they're just kind of taking over your lesson?
We talked about like giving reminders and reminding them how to use the objects and giving reminders before you even took the objects out, so then they're thinking about it before they're even thinking about the object.
That's a good idea. What about revenge?
Well, we just discussed basically before, but bringing together like whoever, whichever students are kind of conflicting or which one like is seeking out revenge or like ask, well, why do we need to like do this? Or just bringing them together and like discussing like what's going on and then finding a solution.
It's like their revenge and attention are kind of linked because anytime they lash out at something, it's kind of like their cry for help or cry for attention. So it's a good idea to just like sit them down and get whatever they needed to say out and then rebuild your relationship from there. And what about inadequacy?
Yeah, we talked about how you can either meet with them and figure out ways to like tutor them or see where they need help. And also you can design assignments to fit their strengths and interests to kind of boost their confidence and get them on the right track.
And going along with yours, how you did like the survey to get to know your students, you can even use that and like keep that on file. I know I was a CA, and so I had to take like a survey of my residents and see like what they wanted to do programs and stuff. And I kept that on file just in case. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do today. If you have a problem with a student that's just completely out of your class and doesn't want to be there, you can pull that, say, okay, well, you're interested in this. What if you did a lesson like this or a project and you could work on this and do something like that? And then so, along with that, there's 4 steps for us as teachers to take. You guys kind of hit it. You have to set up situations where your students can show talent first. Second step is to show their strengths. Third step is to show acceptance. And then the last step is for students who show inadequacy to kind of get them moving. So you guys hit all the points. Good job. So my strategy, one of them is bonus coupons. I kind of took from page 133 as like a different activity, but I liked the coupons. And so they're to reinforce and reward good behavior, like 5 points on a test, something like that to get them engaged. I know in my Spanish class we had puntos. Every time like we read a book in Spanish and gave like an oral report back on, and we could use it on our test. A lot of people kind of think it's kind of controversial because then you're just rewarding them for good behavior and not something that they learn in class. So what you could do is, if they go farther in the class and try to learn something further or apply to something further, you could give them bonus points then. Or you could do dollars or tokens and have a set price for something. For elementary school, you could do like lunch with the principal, this is this many tokens, or private computer time, or free book for middle school, 10 minutes longer at recess, 5 extra credit points. That way they have something that they can do in class to get the points or the tokens, and then save them up and then turn them in for the big prize. And then my last one is safety net. This goes along with making that safe environment for your students, and it promotes students to take risks, get out of their comfort zone, out of the box thinking, because you have to be creative. And you want your students to be creative and creative thinkers because the world needs that. And so you can write up like a little, like a teacher oath kind of, saying, this is a safe classroom, there'll be no judgment in my classroom, this is where you can take risks and be a free thinker, something like that. Just to encourage and let them know that they can say their opinions freely and no one's going to judge them for it. And if students do judge each other for it, you have to discipline them or like set them aside and say, hey, this is not allowed in my classroom. If you keep doing this and putting your other students down, we're going to have a talk because it's not allowed. And then you have to reinforce the behavior, because if they don't do it, or if you don't reinforce the behavior, it's not likely that it's going to keep happening. So if someone says a comment like, oh, I heard about this, maybe we can apply it to the real world in this situation. Say, good job. I'm glad how you came to that conclusion, or something like that, just so they feel better that they're taking risks and thinking outside the box. And that's my presentation.